Good morning. It's a Tuesday and tutorials are due. And as you can tell, I'm a little behind the time again. But this time I slowed my tutorial making down a bit because an idea came to me not just about Britannica Image Quest, which we will look at in depth compared with the light touch of last week's tutorial, but about images and citing them as well. Imagination, as we know, is the action of forming new ideas, images, or concept, and it fits perfectly with giving credit to the content creator of the photograph, illustration, and all other creative works that are visual. This past week, I received a reference question from a middle school student about citing images for a project. The student wondered how to cite an image and if they needed to cite all of the images in Noodle Tools, our citation software, that were provided for free through the app, or just the images they found through other container websites. Citing source questions are always intriguing. They are multi layered and rarely have a one size fits all answer. And when an app offers images as free to use, I would always suggest that the project maker slash student check the website of the app to see just what they agreed to when they signed up. The app in question did have a disclaimer that attributions are appreciated but not required for the images so marked. Any other image provided by the app was subject to the usage rights guidelines established by the artist. This is true for all images found on any container website online. Let's be honest, we know that most students, teachers, and parents default to a Google image search when completing a project or presentation. Perhaps in a later tutorial, we will explore the usage rights in Google image searches, but for today, let's consider the student's original question. For those images they wanted to use, found by searching the internet, how would they cite them? I will toggle between Britannica Image Quest and Noodle Tools to show you how to find quality images that can be used by our students with usage rights provided through our subscription, the sources of the images, and how to cite them. After you have listened to the tutorial, if you have any questions, please email me or any of the librarians, and we would be happy to walk you through the steps. So we're going to start on our main page, and I'm going to take you to the middle school Commons page. And once again, you'll see down here that we have icons for our databases, and Britannica Image Quest fits nicely right next to Britannica Schools, which we looked at last week. When it comes up, you'll see that there'll be a panel of really rich images, a search bar. I've already signed in, which you can do using your Google Gmail, which allows you to sort of personalize your search a little bit. And then down here, you'll notice that there are some other features like Get a Jump Start, where you can look at particular albums of images, especially if you have a subject in mind, project ideas, new images that have been added, and then a little bit about a clip art collection that is also new. So recently, the seventh grade finished doing some research on or some work with World War One. They read books, they read articles, they did an in-depth study. So I'm just going to focus on that for right now. I'm not certain that they were asked to do a project that required images, but if they were, this could be a good place to start. So I'm just going to type in World War One and see what comes back. Lots of images, including posters, and it sort of as you scroll over it, as you roll over it, it tells you a little bit about what you're seeing. You can, if you recall from last week, I was pointing out that you can select multiple images by just clicking on that little tab. And then what it allows you to do is highlight the ones, check off the ones that you think are going to be useful for you in whatever project you're creating. I really am looking for images of soldiers for the purpose of this project, and possibly airplanes, because um, airplane warfare was really in its infancy during World War One, and added a whole different dimension to this war. So I'm scrolling through, and I'm just going to check the ones that I think I want to hold on to for a little bit later on. I'm going to choose this one and this one. And it also, as I said, as I scroll over it, it does sort of tell me what I'm seeing if I choose to do, as I'm looking for things. Here's one with, it looks like a dog fight. So I'm going to check that one. And one more, sort of looking for something where there's maybe just a solitary soldier, maybe in relief, that I would also like to use as possibly the cover image of my project. I'm not seeing it right now, but I will come back and take another look as we go through this. Oh, here's another one with airplanes. So that may be a direction in which I want to go. We also have blimps because that was something that was originated during this time for war purposes. And I think I'm good with what I've chosen so far. I also want to note that there are some posters here that if I wanted things that were, a little bit more colorful and visually appealing, I could choose one of those. And I may just decide to take this one. And then I'm going to add them to my images. So you'll remember last week I had created an album for Monuments of Paris project. This week I'm going to give myself a new album title, and it is World War One, and I'm going to add all these images to that. So I've collected them in one place, and I can get back to them as I need to, and I can continue to add to that album and build from it. You can modify your search a little bit by either the shape. For example, if you know that you need an image that's just going to fit into a certain spot on a Google slide, or the way you want it to be juxtaposed to other images that you're using in a video, you can choose just vertical images, or you can go back and choose horizontal images, or square. So depending on the shape that you're looking for, you can decide what you want to add here. You can also search by collection. And this is what I was pointing out before. We know the source of the images, like the British Library, the Chicago History Museum, DK Images. Dorling Kindersley does some fabulous images that you would find if you were searching the articles in Encyclopedia Britannica, and many, many others. And so you could search those collections, just those collections, to see what you can find. But for the purposes of this, we're just going to go with what I have found so far. So now I need to choose one of the images that I want to use in my project, and I'm going to sort of bring it into focus a little bit. So I'm going to go back here to the actual beginning of the image quest, and I had found a World War I soldier image. Soldier that I really liked earlier on. And I want to cite that because, as I said, I really sort of want that to be the cover of my project. Or this one I thought was really interesting. World War I baseball, American soldiers playing baseball in the war, like showing what they were doing. There were a lot of sort of soldier relief, YMCA organizations throughout the war, and offering opportunities for a little rest and relaxation after coming back from the front and before being deployed again. I need to cite this source. And in order to do that, I'm going to just go down here because I really do like this photograph, circa 1917, copyright 1917. It tells me where it came from, the Granger collection. I'm going to go to citations, and you'll notice right here, they've already cited it. We have our students cite everything in the MLA format. I know that's not accurate when you're doing history research later on. When you're doing your doctoral dissertation, you'll be using other formats. When you're doing science research, you'll be using APA. But for the purposes of consistency in middle school, we do have them use MLA. I'm going to just copy this citation here. Now, I know that seems like it's not what we should be asking students to do. We should be breaking down the various parts of a citation, which I'll show you when we get to Noodle Tools. But my goal when asking students to cite sources or to cite and citing images is to do it consistently, to do it reliably, to get into the habit of everything that has intellectual or creative content has a listing, a citation in their Noodle tools or on their bibliography. So now I'm going to go back to sources. And what I had done was I'd gone to my sources tab at the top. I had picked new source, and then I had found, I'm going to change this to database because I found this image in a database, but it is a photo or image born digital. For the purposes of this, I'm going to show you that there is a way to do a copy and paste citation, really quick citation, just like this. I just copied that citation that was pre-formatted, and I'm going to paste it right here. And then I'm going to go back and collect the URL specifically to this because I want to make sure that I have that so that I can get back to the image if I need to. And I'm going to paste that down here, and then I'm just going to save it. Now, as I said to you, this is a way to encourage students to cite the sources, but it's not necessarily, as they go along in their academic career, they will be asked to have to do each element of the citation and learn how to do that. But getting them into the habit of citing them is part of my goal in middle school. So if we go back over here now, I also wanted to show you that if I decided that I wanted to do it piece by piece, I could. I'm going to choose database, although if you find an image online, then you would cite it as coming from a website. But I will show you with the database the various elements again. Again, I'm looking for photo or image born digital. And in this case, I'm going to pick the name of the database, which they give you a list right here from which you can choose. And I'm going to go down here to, oops, that's not the right one. Sorry. Very sensitive trackpad. Britannica Image Quest. And database publisher is, of course, Britannica. Date of publication, I can go back and look at my image, and they give me the publication date when it was published to Britannica was August 31st, 2017. So that's what I will put in here. I'll just type in 2017. Again, I can paste the URL here and today's date, which when I accessed it. Now I can also go back and find out if there is an artist or photographer name. This one does not seem to have that, but it does tell me that it was YMCA, it was from the YMCA, but it doesn't have that, and that's okay. What you do need are the bits like this. If you do have the artist name, you need to include it right here and as much of the information as you can find. The type of image is a photograph, so it can be either an illustration, an image, or a photograph. You decide on what type of image it is. And then the title of the photograph, which again is right here. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put it here. Now, not every image has a title. And so what I tell the students is if there isn't a title, then for the photograph or the illustration, then give a very brief description, but it has to be identifiable. And then finally, the copyright date, which for right here is 1917. For most cases, we don't ask for an annotation. I do know that in the upper school, there are some projects that are annotated bibliographies. But at this point, I'm just going to be sure that I save it because the thing about Noodle Tools is that it does not automatically save like so many of the G Suite apps do. And I will save it right here. And I've added one more source, and it will tell you what the source is, that it's an image, view live web page, and I can get back to the image if I need it to be able to do anything else, manipulate it, add it in any way that I can. So I just wanted to show you, like when I did this World War I soldier search, it came back with almost 6,000 images. If you are really fortunate enough to be able to find your topic in here, find images for your topic, you don't have to worry about whether you have the right to use them or not because you do. And so, just as I encouraged with Britannica School Encyclopedia, I encourage students to start their image searches here so that they can find good quality images from reputable collections that are easy to cite and easy to use. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can email me. Thank you very much.